Today we're going to be checking out and reacting to Eye Doctor in 2023 from Brewstew. If you've never seen Brewstew before, they're an online YouTube content creator who makes these funny, hilarious animated videos while making comments and observations around our world. I know I've had a lot of eye doctors and other personal friends say that I have to check out this video and comment on it, and so I hope to expand and discuss on a lot of the cool different points and topics that he covers in his trip to an eye doctor. So without further ado, it's going to be a good one. Let's get into it.
All right, so not too long ago, I had to go to the eye doctor to renew my prescription for contact lenses. And like most people, I put off going to the eye doctor as long as I can, you know, until I'm on my last pair of contacts, and they've been in my eyeballs for way too long. Every time I blink, it makes a sound effect.
Yeah. It's actually a really good point. We know a lot of people who wear contact lenses, whether monthlies or weeklies or even dailies, often extend their contact lenses and overwear them, which you definitely don't want to do because it increases your risk of eye infection and other complications. But especially if you're like wearing monthly or bi-weekly lenses, those lenses often get pretty grody, so then they feel dry, and every time you blink, there's little proteins that are rubbing against the eye and the eyelid, so that's what he's kind of talking about, that sound. It doesn't feel good.
So finally I give up and I go to the eye doctor. And some of you out there might be like, hey, wait a minute, didn't this guy already make a cartoon on the eye doctor like 40 years ago? About the time when he was a kid and he got some ugly ass glasses that were too big for his face?
I actually haven't seen that video, so that might be another one to check out.
Well, yeah, I did, but this is 2023 now and I'm an adult. No more of those double-bridge Jeffrey Dahmer glasses. I got me some contact lenses now.
The double bridge thing is coming back, sadly enough. I'm not a huge double bridge fan, but those like 1970s, 80s sort of trends and styles are coming back, definitely in the glasses world.
And I have to say, a lot has changed in the old eye doctor world since then. I mean, sure, some things are still the same. You still have to go through all those tests with the eye doctor's assistant. You know, like the test where you have to smash your face up against the machine and stare at a f***ing hot air balloon while they measure the circumference of your eyeball or whatever the hell they do. Now, maybe instead of the hot air balloon, some of you may get the old big barn on the horizon, whatever your flavor is. And I don't know about you, but every time I stare at that thing, I feel like I'm being set up for like one of those jump scares, like it's 2006 again. Okay, now focus on the big balloon. Open up really big now. Just a few more seconds and blah. Ah, yes. Okay, good. You saw the demon, right? That
is so good. So one, I remember in 2006, 2007, I remember those old school videos online of those jump scares. This instrument, I really love that they showed the hot air balloon, that they showed the farmhouse in the distance. There's even, I've seen one other version of it where it's like a Christmas tree in the distance, but I've only seen that in one instrument. But this is called an autorefractor, and how it kind of came out of focus and back into focus, that's very real. And if you've gone to see the eye doctor, you've probably seen this instrument. This instrument, what it's really doing is it's taking a preliminary kind of reading of the front surface of your eye as well as the depth of your eye using infrared light. And then based on how that infrared light beam bends within the eye, it's able to basically kind of take a quick idea measurement of what your glasses prescription may be. However, while it does, some of them do get pretty accurate, there's a lot of variability, and you can fool those tests by engaging your eye muscles during the reading, which is often notorious in our world of young children. Young kids have really powerful eye muscles, or they can flex the lens inside their eye, and they can just fool these instruments all night and day. And so oftentimes we'll use eye drops to inhibit that to get a more reliable reading from these instruments. But yeah, that's what that's testing.
It means you don't have cataracts or some I don't know. All right, on to the next test. And the next test, of course, is that piece of glaucoma test that everybody hates. You know, where you put your head in one of these bad boys and they're all like, okay, you're gonna feel a little puff of air on your eyeball. You ready? Okay.
Oh my God, the shotgun shot. So that's, oh my God. So this is a very notorious thing in the eye doctor world. People don't like this test, the air puff test. It's called an NCT, non-contact tonometer. So we have to measure the eye pressure in some form to make sure people don't get glaucoma. And there's different ways to do it, but NCT, or this air puff test, has been around a long time, and a lot of clinics use it, but thankfully it's kind of being phased out by many clinics as well. But essentially what this test does is it uses a puff of air and pushes against your cornea, which kind of molds the front surface of the eye. So the air puff hits the front surface, and that'll flatten the front surface of the eye just a little bit. And then there's a measurement that's reading how light reflects off the front surface and gives us an idea of your pressure. But if you're somebody on the off chance who's never experienced the air puff test, you can feel it. It comes off kind of spooky. You don't expect it. And yeah, that's why nobody likes it.
Okay, let's do the next eye. So immediately I'm on guard at this point. I know that test is coming. It's always after the hot air balloon. Well, imagine my surprise when this lady pulls out a little handheld thingy. And my first thought was, oh, they turned it into a gun? This is gonna be bad. So she pulls the hammer back on this thing and points it at me all execution style. All right, now you might feel a little tickle on your eyeball. You ready? Are you holding your breath right now?
Can you just get it over with already?
Okay, so first of all, that instrument is amazing. We have several of those in our eye clinics, and I recommend every eye clinic to consider getting one because it is so much easier to use. Patients love it. There's a lot of great things about it. It's called an eye care tonometer. Now, what he mentioned about holding his breath, are you holding your breath? That's what a lot of people do when they're anxious. They know they're going to be something's coming close to their eye. They hold their breath and try to hold steady and still. And that indeed makes it even worse, because when you hold your breath and you do a Valsalva maneuver where you kind of tense up your body, then your eye pressure can artificially go up. And so the reading ends up saying that your eye pressures are super high, and that scares us. So then we have to redo it, which you don't like doing. So it just becomes like this never-ending cycle. And when your eye pressures do read really high, we have to verify that with the gold standard of measuring the eye pressure, which is called Goldman applanation tonometry, which we have to put eye drops in your eye, and then we literally have to come and touch your eye with a little prism, touching your tear film. And if you're somebody who doesn't like the air puff test or this test, that one's, you're not gonna like that one.
Now, I'll be damned, but this lady was correct. It is just a little tickle on your eyeball now. Holy hell, put a point on the board for the eye doctor in 2023. They fixed the goddamn glaucoma test. What a time to be alive. So now I'm feeling pretty good.
So yeah, the giggle fart part there, really the eye care tonometer has a small little plastic tipped golden, it's a piece of gold, but it's a little probe that juts out really fast and just barely touches the cornea of your eye, bounces back in, and it does that many times, and you can barely feel that on the eye, especially if somebody has worn contacts before or anything. They probably will never feel that. It'll just bounce right off, get the measurement, quick, done, easy, painless. It's great.
That is, until they make the arbitrary decision that they need to dilate my eyeballs. Now, if you never had your eyes dilated before, well, the process works like this. First, they drop battery acid into your eyeballs, and then they make you Stevie Wonder your ass back out to the waiting room for 15 minutes until your pupils look like you just dropped acid, and everything around you looks like graphics from a Nintendo 64.
Oh my god, yes, that is so good. I play a lot of video games myself, and I grew up with a Nintendo 64, so when they showed that just fits so well. If you do get your eyes dilated, it makes your pupils really big, and when you have a large pupil, it's like using a camera lens from a camera and you're opening up the diameter super wide. And with that, you lose what's called depth of field, and so you still can see things, and things can be in focus, but the like zone of clear vision, normally if you have a small pupil, it's really big. But with that, your zone of clear vision is really, really narrow. And so you can maybe see somebody's face in focus, but then you wouldn't see something just behind them in focus, and you can't see something in front of them in focus. It throws everything off. On top of that, the dilation drops also paralyze a muscle inside the eye called the ciliary body, which you use to focus on near objects and really power through to see things clearly. And so that also, unfortunately, gets paralyzed, and again, that reason you can't see. However, paralyzing that muscle is really helpful, again, for small children who often use their eyes to like force their way to seeing things. And so by using those drops, sometimes we eliminate that part of the equation, especially for young kids. And if you're going to go get like refractive surgery like LASIK, then we do use those drops, really strong version of those drops, in fact, to fully inhibit that muscle inside the eye so that we get a more reliable prescription without your muscles throwing all of the readings off.
Put another point on the board for the eye doctors in 2023 because now they offer an alternative. Okay, so we can dilate your eyeballs the old-fashioned way with the battery acid, or for an extra $35, we can skip the dilation and use this new fancy machine that we got. $35? Lady, I would have ate stuff out of your garbage can if it got me out of get my eyes dilated. Sign me up.
So it's true, people do not like having their eyes dilated. I think I've had 1 or 2 people ever, like a 10-year-old kid, tell me that they loved getting their eyes dilated. And I was like, you're kind of a weird kid. But nobody likes their eyes dilated. They don't like their vision being thrown off for several hours. And the eye drops, they call them battery acid, and that's because they do sting when we put them in the eye. And a lot of times in the clinic, we'll use a different eye drop called proparacaine, which will numb the eye, because proparacaine is like maybe a 2 out of 10 for sting level, where your tropicamide or other dilation drops are going to be more like a 5 or 6 out of 10 for kind of a pain battery acid feeling. Now, the alternative method that they're talking about, the $35 to avoid the dilation, that has to do with an imaging technology called wide field imaging, where we're able to take a picture in the back of the eye. So the whole point of dilating the eyes, other than inhibiting that muscle, the ciliary body, using this little eye model I have here, the idea is that we want to be able to look in the far back of the eye and see disease so we can catch things early so that you don't end up losing your eyesight, vision, and going blind. When we want to look inside the eye, if we don't dilate, I can only see like maybe 10, 20% at most of the back of the eye. Anything that's hiding in the far corners here in the orange parts, we're not going to be able to see that. So by inhibiting the muscle and getting this iris muscle to open up, we can then look at really extreme angles and we can start to see all of those edges in the back of the eye and hopefully catch disease that could be potentially hurting you. And this new alternative to dilation, this wide field imaging, is kind of a newer technology. It's been out for at least the last 10 years, but allows us to take a picture that gets pretty far out there in the back of the eye. It's not 100% as good as what dilation is, in my opinion, but it gets pretty close. Plus, it also has the benefit where the doctor or whoever's evaluating it can show you what they're seeing. So if you do have a disease, something that's changing, like diabetes, for example, in the retina, then your doctor can point it out to you and show you, okay, you're bleeding over here. Oh, there's like a fat exudate over here. It's really useful for that education component. The only couple of downsides to this alternative, this wide field imaging or taking a picture of the back of the eye instead of dilation, is that there's still chances you could miss some things in the far back of the eye if the picture isn't taken very well. And if we do catch something that is like a disease component, then we really need to dilate anyway. Especially if somebody does have like a retinal hole or a tear brewing. There could be other tears going on in the back of the eye that this imaging could be missing or not really detecting. So oftentimes we still end up dilating anyway because we found disease. Which honestly, if you're gonna ask me like the best world, should they get the imaging? Should they get the dilation? If you really want the most comprehensive eye exam, you get both. You have your eyes dilated and then get the wide field imaging. Either way though, I've used the wide field imaging for patients and I know a lot of other doctors love it and patients love it. So certainly you can call around, ask different clinics what their opinions are and if they have that technology, because yeah, it is pretty cool.
Eye doctor in 2023, I would buy a t-shirt at this point if they had a merch shop. So finally the opening act is over, and now it's time to see the headliner, the old Big Daddy eye doctor himself. Now I've encountered many eye doctors in my extensive past of troubled eyesight, and most of them seem to be no-nonsense guys that seem generally pissed off to be eye doctors in the first place for whatever reason. But this guy burst in the door with the energy of like a 90s game show host. Hey there, howdy who, I'm Dr. Sunshine. Who's ready to play the Family Feud? I'm here for contact lenses. Yeah, I see that. Tell me, how long have you had those crusty things in there for?
It's definitely me. I don't know if this Brewstew is my patient or not. I don't think so. But that's definitely kind of the attitude that I have in the clinic. If you ever came to see me, I'm usually way more energetic.
Not too long, really. Christ almighty, those things look like they've been in there since the Bush administration. Here, let me peel them bad boys out for you. And then suddenly the doctor leans over and he scoops the contacts out of my eyes himself like he's doing a magic trick. Now, I don't know if you've ever had a grown man take your contacts out for you, but personally, I didn't know if I should be uncomfortable or impressed. You know I could have done that myself, right? Oh, it's okay. I love touching eyeballs. What? Nothing.
That definitely is me. Not seriously, I don't know if that's me, but that's the way I am in the clinic.
Anyways, let's do your exam. So unfortunately, the 2023 eye doctor still has the same steampunk eyeball contraption thing that they slide on your face. But the big difference this time
That instrument's called a phoropter, by the way.
around was that I didn't feel pressured one bit when comparing the different slides. You see, when I was a kid, I could always sense the doctor's impatience as I struggled to figure out which slide was blurrier than the other. I'd be sitting there panicking, feeling the pressure. Okay, we have number 1 and number 2. Oh God. Number 1 and number 2. Could you like put them side by side? Oh, for sake, how hard is it? You know what? To hell with it. I'll just pick for you. And if you end up with Coke bottle glasses, that's on your indecisive ass. But that's not...
Okay, a couple of funny things here. Yes, so many people have anxiety over the test. Refraction is the procedure. And I've mentioned this in other videos, like giving tips on how to do a better eye exam or what to expect when you have an eye exam. And yeah, when they're really close like that, it's hard to tell the difference. That's okay. Just make sure you tell the doctor, tell your staff, whoever's doing that procedure, that things are really close and you can't really tell a difference. That's ultimately a good endpoint, because that tells me that the two options I'm showing you doesn't make a big enough difference to improve or degrade your vision. So that means we're in a good spot. And then the true reality, like the grumpy doctor there saying like, you know what, I'm just gonna prescribe you what I feel like they should have. And that's very true in many ways. As eye care professionals, with our training and our knowledge, we already have like an idea of what your prescription should be, like 90% plus % sure of what your prescription should be. And the final fine tuning is either verifying or just making sure that there is more comfort and that we're getting you seeing the absolute best you possibly could. Otherwise, through methods like autorefraction or retinoscopy, the handheld version of autorefraction, and just from our knowledge of your vision, your previous glasses, we're able to, again, kind of know where you should be before answering better 1 or 2. So best tip is just relax and try not to stress out about the refraction, the better 1 or 2 test.
Case for the eye doctor in 2023. No, this guy's got the patience of a Shaolin monk. Okie dokie, we have 3, and we have 4. Oh lordy. 3 again, and 4 again. Is there any way you could, like, do them side by side? Oh, you know, I sure wish I could, but, well, it turns out that f***ing stupid as hell. 3 and 4. And then once that was over, that was it. The appointment's over. I got my prognosis, which I already knew, and then they send me out the door, and I don't even have to Stevie Wonder my ass out there with the cardboard sunglasses. Eye doctor in 2023, not a bad time. I can blink like a normal human being again, the eye doctor didn't make me feel like an idiot, and I even got a sucker at the end. So if you're a piece of like I am, and you've been putting off going to the eye doctor, well, knock it off and get your ass in there. You'll become a diehard fan just like me. The end.
Oh my God, I really do love this video. I love the points that he made. I even loved the merch in the background there, even the dentist sucks sort of thing. That's amazing. What I really love the most is that he does give that call to action to have your eyes checked. Things are pretty amazing, not just the experience of what we do and helping you see better, but we catch a lot of diseases with eye exams. I've done some other videos commenting on this, talking about some of the diseases, the things that we catch that you just wouldn't know that we find during an eye exam. Anything from systemic diseases like diabetes and high blood pressure to neurological conditions. We can help diagnose multiple sclerosis and even brain tumors. Even in the back of my own left eye, I have a mole growing on my retina called a choroidal nevus, which is something my doctors need to follow to make sure that it doesn't grow and become something like a cancer or a true melanoma. So yes, whether or not you are somebody who needs glasses, contacts, or even if you've had LASIK eye surgery and you feel like you see perfectly, it's still recommended to have a comprehensive eye examination with an eye doctor at least once a year. Even if it's not to help you see better, but to have preventative care to make sure we can catch diseases, not just eye diseases, but many different systemic diseases before they become a problem. But yes, Brewstew, thank you so much for making this eye doctor video. Amazing, you made a lot of great points. In fact, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments section of what was your favorite part of this video. Is there something really that you learned or that you agree with? Or in your last eye doctor experience, was it good? Was it bad? Let me know your votes. Either way though, if you're going to be heading in to have an eye exam, whether it's because of this video or you just have one planned coming up and you haven't seen my video going over tips and tricks of how to better prepare for an exam and how to have a better experience at your eye doctor, check out that video by clicking or tapping the screen up over here. Otherwise, again, this is Dr. Allen here from Dr. Eye Health. Keep an eye on it, and we'll see you in that next video.